chairperson. Okay, we start with Dr. Dr. Asmawi Arifin. So before we start, I will just read out the introduction about Dr. Asmawi Arifin. Okay, so our third keynote speaker is from Cybersecurity Malaysia and Digital Forensic Society Malaysia. Dr. Asmawi Arifin, also known as Dr.A, is a cyber forensic strategist with more than 25 years working experience in cybersecurity, policy development, security assurance, threat intelligence, incident response, and digital forensic investigation with various law enforcement agencies and provide expert testimony in court. Due to his immense contribution in cybersecurity, Dr.A was awarded ISLA, which is an Information Security Leadership Award in 2009 by International Information System Security Certification Consortium, SC2, USA, including a commendation letter from Attorney General Chambers Malaysia and a certificate of appreciation from Royal Malaysia Police in 2010. He also has been appointed as an expert referral by the New South Wales Police, Australia, and now a member of the Interpol Digital Forensic Expert Group. Currently, Dr.A is a Senior Vice President of Cybersecurity Responsive Service Divisions at Cybersecurity Malaysia and President of Digital Forensic Society Malaysia. And he provides input on strategic direction, technical leadership, and marketing strategy for Cyber Threat Intelligence, CTID, Malaysia Computer Emergency Response Team, MySet, Digital Forensic Department, DFD, and Secure Technology Services, STS. So, without further ado, I invite Dr. Asmawi Arifin as our keynote speaker session number 3.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Moderator, for the brief introduction of myself as the third speaker. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Thank you to UMP and the conference today for inviting me to be one of your keynote speaker. So before that, let me share my slide. I hope you can see my slide. Today, I would like to bring the audience attention to the industry requirement. And I try to fit in the time allocated to me because of the glitches and whatnot today. So that we respect the time, and I have, we shall give more time to the last speaker just before lunch because it's gonna be very, challenging for her, to be presenting just before lunch. Yeah. I hope the audience can take the keywords of my inputs today, so that it be as a takeaway, as a researcher. So I would like to emphasize that, three little important things in our life. The researcher by itself, you have to have a very good research, as a researcher, the effort, to be put into the research, especially in terms of, security, in terms of, big data and whatnot, because, I like your theme of today's conference, digital society, because, we are rampantly moving ourselves into the digital society. How do we, stay put? How do we, behave in the digital society? Is it the same with the physical society? Is it, not the same with the physical society? So this is very important, yeah. So as a researcher, you must be able to provide good inputs to the engineers, so that the engineers will be able to develop and advance technology, yeah. So with the technology, the community, the recipient, which is the practitioners, will be able to use your technology, to the best level, because the practitioners, they are the so-called, for example, like my division, because under my division, I have a Malaysian cert, digital forensics. They are cyber frontliners. They are the one who goes, to the crime scene. They are the ones who doing the incident handling. So we must be able to develop a very good technology, so that the digital society will be able to be protected from any malicious activities, for example, like ransomware, intrusion, cyber espionage, and whatnot. So today, I'm the rep of Cybersecurity Malaysia, and also we have developed a platform. We call it Digital Forensic Research Society, whereby this platform is a platform for the researcher to be together with the practitioner, just like me, so that whatever the gap or problem statement, things to be done, immediately can be escalated to the researcher, and the researcher, not just merely producing papers, for publication and whatnot. At the end of the day, it can be transformed into advanced technologies, as the theme of today's conference. Yeah. So whatever that you have stated, we have to we have a very good aspiration, and we have to make it this a real thing at the end of the day. So a Digital Forensic Research Society is a platform to assemble researchers and practitioners, so that all those information can be informed, can be guided by the practitioners, what they need at the end of the day, so that the researcher and also the engineer will be able to develop advanced technology. So just look back at your theme of today's conference, advancing digital society with advanced technology. So we have to develop a very good technology. So today I would like to share with you now some of the things that being done at Cybersecurity Malaysia through Digital Forensic Society, whereby we get a researcher, whereby we get the engineers, and at the end of the day, we delivered advanced technology to the practitioner, so that the practitioner will be able to use it. That is very important. Yeah. So the keywords or keynotes of today's presentation from myself. So in today's world, the cyber threat landscape is very sophisticated. In order to be good cyber threat intelligence or digital forensic analyst, you must be able to understand the technicalities, the sophistication of the attacks. If let's say you think that if you put a wall, a firewall, or endpoint protection, or even network sensors and whatnot, it's not a bulletproof infrastructure. At the end of the day, the cyber criminals, they are 3 steps ahead, because we are, as a practitioner, we understand the technicalities, the skill set of the cyber criminals. At any time, if they want to intrude into your system, they can intrude your system. That's why, as a researcher, you must be able to understand the first thing, the keyword again here, the vulnerabilities of the technology by itself. For example, like the operating system, the networks, or even the application that is being developed by the developers. So there's always vulnerabilities or weaknesses. As a human being, we are not perfect, isn't it? So at the end of the day, there's roles, for example, like a bug hunter, to be able to understand the vulnerabilities, and at the end of the day, they develop what we call malicious software. Just the other side of benign software. Benign-ware and malicious software, malware. So with the malware, the level of sophistication has gone far beyond what has happened in the past. For example, like if I believe the audience you are quite young, and as you can see from the diagram here, in those days, in the early days, whereby there's already a worm called Morris in 1988, and as time goes by, I'm quite lucky in year 1990. I was around, to be doing something in electronic side to develop, computer systems, ALU, something that CPU and whatnot. I was working with MIMOS during that time, and after that, MIMOS through Jaring, we developed an ISP during the early days, and when we have internet connection and attack, they already started during that time. So as time goes by, the level of sophistication of attacks is getting more sophisticated. This is a keyword again, and we have to develop advanced technologies to be able to defense, to defense our infrastructure, to defense at organization level, at individual level. So we have to keep our awareness abreast, so that we be able to understand that this is the kind of attack to individuals, to organization, and at national level. So again, it's challenging for me to be able to talk everything today. So I would like to get the time, because the time is quite limited, the pointers for the audience today, and later most probably you can contact me. Yeah. So as you can see that the cyber criminals, they are trying to find any vulnerabilities at any angle. For example, like at the chipset level, at the application level, as you being taught of OSI, 7 layers all together. So the cyber criminals, they are looking at every each layers to be able to find any vulnerabilities, and from the opportunity, then they try to attack based on their objective. The objective is depend whether they want to for financial gain, or corporate espionage to steal your data. Data breach is happening a lot. In the earlier days, universities is the target for data breach. Almost, I think, top universities in Malaysia, they somehow or another already experience a data breach. The criminals stealing your personal information, identifier information. It's just like personal data, and from your personal data, they will be able to bring at the underground level, the darknet, and they are selling the information of your addresses, your IC numbers, where your wife is working, your children, where are they schooling, and everything, your personal. So with your personal data, once the cyber criminals pass it to another syndicate, the attackers, the hackers, they pass it to the syndicate, and the syndicate will be able to do a lot of things, to scam you. For example, like as being informed by the police, in the millions of ringgit in terms of data breach and other types of incidences. Yeah. So cybersecurity is being established, as a reference center, from the industry, so that the industry will be able to tell the researcher, this is what you need to be developing, and this is the advanced technology that we are giving back to the community, especially the practitioners, so that they will be able to use it in terms, in defending our country, organization, individuals, and other types of background. So the establishment of cybersecurity in Malaysia is to guide, universities. For example, we have a lot of MOU or agreement engagement with universities. Because again, I would like to bring the audience that Malaysia in the midst of digital transformation, we will be digital society, digital citizen. So there's always a big risk. I'm not telling or try to scare the audience today, but it's the two sides of coin. It is very good. There's no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, how do we manage the risk? How do we put controls? At the end of the infrastructure, at the human level. Apart from malicious software, we have benign software, and we have humanware, robots and other things. So there's always a risk, and we must push our economy so that the economy is getting aggressive back, contributing, because due to a pandemic, COVID-19, it has impact, the society, it has impact the economy, and through your research, hopefully at the end of the day, once you develop with the engineers and you have a very good technology, advanced energy, it will also contribute back to the digital economy. This is in a nutshell, based on my first phase of slides presentation. So at the end of the day, you as a researcher, you must be able to develop technical tools or tools, at the same time most probably framework, and you can also develop application or services, new services, things to be done in the future. How do we combat something that adversary to a digital society in terms of a scam? So at Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have done a lot, and together with other agencies from other stakeholders, for example, like Ministry, Cybersecurity Malaysia is reporting to Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. And I would like to inform the audience today that we are the 5th in the world. An international organization called ITU, International Telecommunication Union, they have done a survey, and they have checked each nation in terms of their effort in putting security, because security is very important, very important, as you can see from Industrial Revolution 1 to the 4th. And cybersecurity is a very important domain to be venture into. So ITU has seen that Malaysia has put a lot of effort, and in terms of world ranking, we are number 5, just for your information. And that it is not enough, so that's why based on my personal review, that what is the difference between Malaysia and Korea, South Korea, not in terms of K-pop, so in terms of how do we develop technology, that's why there's a lot of researcher in the industry to be doing what is necessary, what is required at the industry, in the industry, so that all this development can contribute back to the industry in terms of operation, in terms of economic activity. So I would like to challenge the researcher at the academia, at the university, not merely to be publishing papers and that's it, because today I can see a lot of papers. I would like to congratulate the students or PhD students that submitted for the paper, and at the end of the day for publication. But you have to challenge yourself. At the end of the day, are you contributing back to the engineers, so that the engineers can be guided to be developing a good advanced technology. So the advanced technology, again, I will repeat it many times in my presentation, so that they can use the technology. So practitioner is just like the graphical representation here. We need to be fit among the fittest. The cyber criminals is always the criminals. They are always 3 steps ahead. This is based on my personal experience, and we have to keep up. In terms of in order to protect digital society, because we already move into digital society. How do we protect our digital society so that something is not right happening in the future? So I call it, the acronym is CyberFit, and at Cybersecurity Malaysia we develop a lot of trainings, courses and whatnot. So this can be discussed later, whether the university can be engaging with Cybersecurity Malaysia, so that at the end of the day the students they not only get the academic qualification, but also professional certification. This is a big requirement from the industry. So if they have academic and also professional certification, their chances to get a job from the industry is very high likely. I call it cyber fit just now. The acronym, it depends on you whether you want to understand or not, because at cybersecurity, it's easier for me to tell my staff that you have to be fit, cyber fit, not only from running or cycling, but in your job you have to be fit among the fittest. Your knowledge must be at the world level. So cyber act, actionable things, SOP, law, legal, or all these things, they are very important. So whenever you do your work at the crime scene, you must follow a very good SOP, because at the end of the day, just like digital forensics analysts, they must appear in the court. So the first thing, the defense lawyer, they would ask whether you follow a proper SOP or not. So if they find that you are not following a proper SOP, so the case will be rejected in the court of law. So again, I call it cyber act with those information, with those SOP and whatnot. You have to take action. You have to act according to your SOP. And at the end of the day, this is the thing, this is what we need to defend against intrusion, against scams, against ransomware, against cyber espionage. The category of cyber crimes, they are very big, and the one that I really worry about is a data breach, because they are stealing information from the database. Even though you put a wall just in front of your infrastructure, there are techniques to be able to intrude into the system. That's why we are engaging with the faculty of computing at UPM to be able to engage with some of the lecturers in terms of teaching, in terms of lecture, and at the same time, I would like to invite in terms of doing any kind of research. So at Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have we call it a SOC, Security Operations Center. Data, we collect massive data, mass, and a very big data to be able to understand what's happening on the ground. So we have a very good infrastructure at Cybersecurity Malaysia. Based on engineering, we have put a lot of effort in terms of engineering. We derive it from the research, and at the end of the day, we give it back to the analysts to be able to use the technology. So at the same time, we involve a lot in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also deep learning. To be able to understand pattern, to be able to do data mining, data science, to look into what kind of feature extraction. It's just like you bring all those malwares, millions of malwares just into the operating theater. You dissect the malware and you extract what is the unique feature, and from the unique feature to be able to put it into figures, so that all those figures can be computed by the algorithm, be it supervised, unsupervised, deep learning, and other kind of algorithm. So I would like to quickly share on the journey that cybersecurity have gone together with University Technology Malaysia in a very short time, in 2 years, to be able to develop what I call a CyberI3 system. Is an AI system. So we ingested some of the inputs, from our sensors, endpoints, honeypot, all those data to be, ingested into the system. And from the system, how do you model all those data, and at the end of the day, you'll be able to visualize, you'll be able to understand it, and at the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier about Cyber Act, you take action of that information given to the dashboard. So we develop not only paper publication at academic level, but professional engineers documentation. For example, like software requirements specification, and to the level of software design documentation. all this thing is being audited. When we applied the grant from MOSTI, we received about a few millions of ringgit, and we sat down with the academicians from the universities. You have to do structured literature review, paper publication and whatnot. We also sat down with the developers. This is what you need to develop, this is the technology stack, and whether we want to use the cloud, because the cloud is really helpful. In a way, you have to understand the cloud. For example, like AWS, it makes things easier in terms of development, it makes things easier in terms of operation. So these are the things that need to be give back to the academician, so that they will be able to understand. And some of the academicians in the early days that I pull them for training. For example, like they have to learn to do some Python programming with regard to big data, with regard to doing some kind of analysis and other things, dashboarding, all those things. They move their mindset from purely researcher to developer. So engineering, so they will be able to understand, oh, this is the researcher, this is my own job, then this is the job of a developer, and at the end of the day, who's going to use my advanced technology, which is the practitioners. Yeah. So this is some of the activities that we have done earlier. We test it. We have gone through 2 years of laugh and cry. Sometimes we are very down. If things is not happening, there's a lot of bugs, and we have to rectify the bugs, and again sit down, bermusyawarah. Sit down again. Some of the team members can be giving some kind of inputs, and we deliberate the inputs, and at the end of the day, we want that technology to be developed the best possible, because we are combating the real things. Cyber criminals, they are fighting against us. We have to defend, and that's why we need to develop advanced technologies, the best technologies for them to use it. Yeah. So this is very important. So I would like to share with the audience today some of the dashboard that we have developed. It's easier for the practitioner, the analyst, to be doing some kind of search, because we have a big data. They can just search, query it to be able to do threat hunting, to get some kind of context or visibility, and from there onwards they can reduce the number of incidences by 25%. This is what we experience as a practitioner at the end of the day. So these are some of the dashboard. I think again with the contribution of the developer, we sat down, how do we make up, how do we put some kind of cosmetic so that it be easier for the analysts to see it, because they have to sit in front of the their computers 24/7. So you have to think of a lot of factors, in terms of calculation, mathematical, development, engineering, and also the makeup, the commenting of a dashboard. Yeah. So I think this is what cybersecurity and UTM we have gone through with our developer. We have gained so much of experience, and this is, I think, it's a callback for me to share it with the community. Again, all those papers, I hope at the end of the day, must be contributing back to the practitioners, and the most the best level that you can do, if you can make commercial product at the end of the day, because at MOSTI, research, development and commercialization is the key philosophical, key concept or key initiative that needs to be done at the end of the day. It's not merely paper publication. Yeah. So some of the dashboarding, that is easier for the analyst to understand, and it must be actionable. So I put the acronym. You have to be fit, cyber fit. You have to take action, cyber act, and at the end of the day, cyber dev is a service and also a technology, so that at the end of the day, we as a researcher, we as a developer, we contribute back to the analysts, the cyber frontliners, so that they can carry their job as excellent as it can be. So, these are some of the conclusion, I like to emphasize in terms of people, process, energy, so that we are being guided, researcher, engineers, and also practitioners. Yeah, these are some of the keywords, and hopefully we can attend to some of the instances, for example, like ransomware. Yeah, so ransomware is the most common, is touch based, is touching every each individual, but at national level, some very delicate and very sophisticated, they are intruding into the system, and they are stealing a lot of not only PII information or data breaches in terms of personal information, but also some critical information at the national level. They are being stolen, and it can be some kind of advantage, and intelligence advantage to some of the nation states, cyber threat attackers. And professional documentation, they are very important. SRS, SGD, and other things, they are very complex in a way, so that the developer can refer back to the document when they are developing the application. Yeah, so that this is the reference to them. If it's a bad reference, then at the end of the day, it's not advanced technology. It's a bad reference, it's a bad technology. These are some of the papers through the collaboration that we have done, previously. That's why I call upon the academicians to rope in industry experts, from the industry, because so happen we are blessed by God that we have CSM. We have to keep ourselves abreast, if something happen in other country, for example, like R-Evil, R-Evil ransomware attack, is just the same in Malaysia. Whatever happened in other country, the same things happen in Malaysia. And through CSM collaboration, for example, like at APCET level, Asia Pacific, Japan and Korea, they have the trust. They give Malaysia to lead into the area of malware mitigation. This is what I would like to share with the audience. So these are some of the testimonials from other countries in terms of respecting Malaysia. And of course, we do not sit to be happy at the fifth level in the world. We want to upgrade ourselves in the future. So some of the things, for example, like Malaysia cybersecurity strategy, blueprint, the trust tree, to look into R&D. I call upon again so many times, I'm repeating this to challenge you, so that we can contribute back to MCSS trust tree, which is R&D. So with this, and we can be safe in the future. Yeah, in terms of realizing digital society. It's no point when we go into digital society, there's a lot of incidences, issues. Then we need to be solving the gaps, the issues in digital society. So this is some of the experience of big data. We more or less do not have any issues in terms of big data engineering. I would like to share. This is a very happy moment, because this is where we settle some of the issues on the ground. I do not want to share, in terms of people crying. Some of the analysts or engineers, they broke down in terms of developing in the midst of the project development or progress. This is where some of the project director have to sit down with the project executive, and also technical analysts or technical engineers, to sit down and just to find what is the best thing to resolve some of the issues during the progress of the project. So at the end of the day, 3 keywords for the audience today. Digital society without any defense is gonna be havoc. Yeah, it's just like this pictorial representation. Adversaries, they are coming forth in many ways. We have conflicts. Conflicts since since the early days. at any country, in any country, or race, during the journey of humanity. And once we move into digital society, there will be a very big issue in the future. Even though digital society is good for us, I'm not scaring, but this is the effort that we have to put forth, so that we are able to control the risk, put some kind of solution, to develop some kind of mitigation to withstand any uh, ill intention in the future. So cyber fit, you have to be very fit, researcher. At the end of the day, we can take action based on your research, and at the end of the day, we can defend our country together as a group, or as a community. With that, I hope I don't take so much of time in my presentation. Whatever keywords is being shared today, if you have anything, you can just email me, and I hope I can respond accordingly. So again, thank you for listening. I pass back my session to the Dr. Moderator of this particular slot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, TS Dr. Aswami Arifin, for the sharing. So now we have the Q&A sessions.
Okay.
So this is the first questions. Considering the current landscape of cybersecurity in Malaysia, do you think we ready to implement digital identity for citizen? What are the biggest challenge implementing it?
This is not about ready. We have to, digital identity. We have to protect, because there's a lot of transaction ongoing. Thanks again to pandemic COVID-19. Don't bring the negative aspect. I thank COVID-19 because it pushed us to the next level. As we can see, some of the culture or revolution, in the Europe due to war. So due to the pandemic, it has pushed us to the next challenge, to the next level. And the ministry, I can share with the audience, we are trying to deliberate. We are being called, CSM and MCMC together, with Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. We have to establish digital identity, not to compete, not to have a double identity as our card, my card, but digital identity in terms of to suit back, the requirements of a digital society in the future. So it is in the midst of, being devised, and it's been led by MCMC, for your information.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Yep.
Now we have another question. The question, who are the hackers actually? How can they have a good skill in network security?
Yeah, again, it depends, white hat, black hat, yeah. So it can be, financial motivation, because there's no bureaucracy in the world of underground. So I hope, the students here, not to be hackers, black hat hackers, you have to, put some kind of good philosophical. We have done a very good training together with UKM. We call it, I change it, instead of hacking challenge competition, into cyber heroes. Yeah, in terms of to instill good ethics in the students, because the students, they are very energetic and whatnot. So they would like to test their skill, at some of the government infrastructure. So back to the hackers, because of financial motivation and other kind of motivation, they have to, they keep abreast in terms of technology, to the level of protocol, not only at the application, everything, OSI, so that if there's any vulnerability or weaknesses, they will be able to take advantage. So the hackers at the black hat, or not at the the other side, is quite advanced due to certain motivation, and one of the motivation is financial motivation. I hope I answer your question.
Okay, thank you again. So I think this is the last questions.
Okay.
It's regarding the research. Regarding the data source, is either the data source is from Malaysia or from other part of the world.
For threat intelligence that we have developed is external data from IP reputation sensors as well, because the malicious software is communicating to the command and control. Because at the back of the command and control, there is the hacker, is the cyber criminals. It's quite difficult to catch them. And we have to get some kind of information externally. And once we have the threat intelligence information, for example, like indicator of compromised IP reputation or URL reputation, then we go to the specific organization that is being intruded, and then we extract digital artifact in terms of data again. And with external and internal data, we have a some kind of analysis, so that it provides some kind of context to the cybersecurity analyst, and we bring all those information to the stakeholder, for example, like National Security Council or law enforcement agencies. Okay.
Okay. Do we take another question or not?
Yeah, I depend to the Dr. Moderator. Kalau ada more question, I can take it. I'm
Okay,
just worried to
there
the
is
yeah.
one more questions.
Okay.
Based on the data, what you can say about the attack? What are they actually, what the hacker is actually attacking?
Wow.
Okay.
You get a lot of data. You can see miracles. Miracles, yeah. In terms of intrusion, it depends to your creativity, yeah. At the end of the day, with the data, and there's a lot of algorithm that you can use, for example, like deep learning, yeah, or even machine learning. So there's a lot of things when you do data mining, and the data tells you some kind of a story. So in a nutshell, so being a practitioner and also researcher at the same time, when I do a lot of analysis with regard to big data, it's really amazing what I can share with the audience. It tells you a lot of things. It depends to your creativity, and at the end of the day, you share back all those information to with the law enforcement agencies, and they can take action. For example, like if there's any intrusion, and with all those digital artifacts, they can use it as a evidence to prosecute the cyber criminals.
Okay. Thank you very much for all the answers, all the question.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
thanks again to our speaker, our keynote speaker, TS Dr. Aswami Arifin.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our conferences. We hope you can also contributing again with our faculty on the next our endeavor together.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
inshallah.
you very
Inshallah.
much. Inshallah.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. So